Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating report from McKinsey that asks a massive question. How is it that in just 2 decades, the world's most valuable companies have been almost completely replaced? The answer, it turns out, reveals a whole new set of battlegrounds that are going to define our future.
So, the report kicks things off with a pretty startling observation about who's on top in the corporate world. And, spoiler alert, it's changed. A lot.
And wow, look at this. The scale of the change is just incredible. On the left, you've got the giants of 2005, GE, Exxon, Shell. Now look at the right, the projected titans for 2025. Only one company, Microsoft, manages to stick around. The rest, totally gone. Replaced by the names that run our world now, like Nvidia, Apple, and Amazon. It's a total changing of the guard.
So what happened here? This wasn't just some random corporate musical chairs. No. It's the direct result of a powerful new set of competitive battlegrounds that have just erupted in the global economy.
To really get what's going on, we need to wrap our heads around the core idea in this report. And that idea has a name: arenas.
Right. So an arena isn't just any old industry. You got to think of it as an industry on hyperdrive. It's a place where the rewards for winning are absolutely massive. But at the same time, the risk of getting knocked off the top spot is incredibly high. And to actually measure all this dynamism, all this chaos, the report gives us a metric called the shuffle rate. This is super important. It basically tracks how fiercely companies are fighting over their piece of the pie, and it shows you just how unstable that top spot can be. And this is a perfect illustration of that shuffle rate in action. Just look at consumer electronics. Back in 2005, Apple had what, 5% of the revenue? Fast forward to 2023, and it skyrocketed to 46%. And at the same time, a company like Xiaomi, which literally didn't even exist back then, jumps into the ring and grabs 6%. That constant fight for position, that's what an arena's all about. And it goes way beyond just growth. I mean, arenas are just built different. They suck in a huge and growing share of all economic profit. We're talking a jump from 9% to 35% globally. And that money magnet attracts monster R&D budgets, gives birth to these corporate giants, and basically forces everyone to play on a global stage.
Okay, so if these arenas are the epicenters of all this value creation, what's the secret sauce? What's the recipe that actually creates one?
Well, the report calls it the arena creation potion, and it really boils down to 3 key ingredients. You start with a huge breakthrough, then you add a crazy investment race, and you mix that with a giant growing market. And when those 3 things come together, boom, you get an explosion of competition and growth.
Let's really zero in on that second ingredient for a second, that investment race. This isn't just about spending a little more money. It's a full-on strategic arms race. It creates this feedback loop where you have to invest to get bigger, and you have to get bigger just to be able to afford to invest.
And the numbers involved are, well, they're kind of hard to get your head around. In 2024 alone, just 6 of the big tech players, you know the ones, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, are on pace to spend a combined $503 billion on R&D and capital projects.
To give you some perspective on just how massive that number is, their spending in 1 year could have funded the entire 13-year Apollo program that put a man on the moon. And you could have done it twice. That's the insane scale of the investment arms race we're living in.
All right, so we've seen how these arenas are born. Now for the really fun part. Let's look into the crystal ball and see where the next big battlegrounds are going to emerge.
So the researchers have laid out this map of 18 potential arenas for the next few decades. And to make sense of it all, they've grouped them into 5 big themes that all kind of build on each other. It all starts with what they call the foundation, stuff like AI, semiconductors, and the cloud. This technological core then acts like a supercharger for everything else, from the digital world of cybersecurity to the electrification of our planet, to brand new frontiers in biology and even really physical hard tech. And that hard tech theme is such a perfect example of how this works. I mean, think about it. Things like robotics and space travel used to be the exclusive playground of huge government projects and slow industrial giants. But now, with AI and computing power making everything cheaper and faster, they're turning into these dynamic arenas full of nimble new players. And the economic prize we're talking about is just mind-boggling. By the year 2040, these 18 arenas could be generating somewhere between $29 and $48 trillion in revenue every year. That could be up to a third of all global economic growth.
So why does any of this matter to you and me? Because, and this is the key part, this isn't just some abstract theory. This whole framework is a really practical tool for figuring out what's coming next.
The report suggests using a simple but powerful tool, an ARENA's radar. And the idea is pretty straightforward. You need to be actively scanning this new landscape to figure out your own exposure, whether that's for your business, your career, or even your investments.
This is where it gets personal. The real takeaway here is to start asking yourself some pretty serious questions. Is my job or my industry about to get disrupted by one of these arenas? Could I be a customer and use their tech? Am I supplying something that a growing arena needs? And of course, as an investor, how do I get in front of this next massive wave?
Ultimately, the report's big message is really one of urgent opportunity. And it leaves us with this final thought. These transformative arenas aren't some far-off distant future. They are here and they're happening now. That reshuffling of the world's most valuable companies, that wasn't a one-time thing. It's a process that's always happening. And the real question is, are you ready for the next shuffle?